Hey guys, my name is Nick. I'm going to be showing you a quick rundown on how to replace one of the analog sticks on your gamepad. I already replaced the left analog stick a couple months ago because it malfunctioned on me. I haven't had too many problems with the one I put in, or none at all I should say. It's been working great. Now the right stick is giving me some trouble, so this is the guy we're going to be replacing today. And I'm going to give you a quick rundown on the tools you're going to need and exactly what you're going to do to replace the analog stick. So for starters, I picked up these analog sticks on eBay. I picked it up as an assembly. This is basically the stick. Let me bring it over here. So that is the analog stick. I have the old one that I replaced in there. You're going to need tri-wing screwdrivers. They're specialty screwdrivers that you can get from iFixit. I believe I paid $9 for this screwdriver. Basically, it's not a Phillips or a flathead. It's actually got 3 points. Again, I apologize for the camera. For whatever reason, it's not focusing on it. So you're going to need that. Then you're also going to need some really tiny Phillips heads, which I have in this tool set here. You're going to need a 00 Phillips head and a 000 Phillips head. Again, I do apologize for the quality of the video. I'm trying to zoom in so you guys can see it, but camera's a little out of focus at the moment. Oh, there we go. So you're going to need these to actually get into certain parts of the gamepad. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so I got my cover off of my gamepad. My cover's over there. Here's my gamepad. Again, we're replacing the right stick. Kind of bear with me on my voice here. I actually just caught a cold and my throat really hurts, so I'm not going to be raising my voice too much. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So you're going to flip the pad over. Also, real quick, I forgot to mention, you're going to need something that has like a very small but sharp knife. So what I'm using here is my Swiss Army knife that I picked up from Snap-on. Comes with this little knife here. This is going to come in handy in a second. I'll show you what for. First thing we're going to do is take off the battery cover on the back of the gamepad. Give me 1 second here. Let me get myself some extra light. Fire up my other cell phone. So, for the time being, while that boots up, we are going to take off the battery cover on the gamepad. So give me 1 second while I do that. These take the 00 size screwdriver on the back. I purchased this tool set at Menards for like 50 bucks. Comes in handy, comes with a lot of neat stuff inside. All different types of screwdrivers, real small stuff to work on electronics. But anyway, so here you go. So the battery cover is off. Now, some of you may notice that I actually have a bigger battery in here, which is true. I have a 2550 milliamp battery, which is about an extra 1050 milliamps over the stock one that originally came with the system. I purchased this battery off Amazon. Gives me about 7 to 8 hours of battery life per charge compared to the 4 to 5 hours that the original battery gives you. So if you guys want a bigger battery, if you want your gamepad to last a little longer, this is a great investment. Actually had it shipped to me from Japan. Pretty cool stuff. So to get the battery out, there's gonna be this little tab right here. Slide that down with your finger, and then you reach in here and the battery comes right out. So you're gonna put that over here to the side, and ta-da, your battery's out. So if you gotta replace the battery, it's simple as that. Alright, so now I got us some additional lighting here. Now this is where your sharp object or knife comes into play. because in order to disassemble the backing of the gamepad, there are all these little tabs. There's one there, one here, here, here. I believe there's some up here too, yeah. You have about maybe 10 or 12 of them, I want to say. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 of those you got to take out. So what you're going to do, let me get a little more comfortable here. I usually just take my flat piece and try and wedge it under like so. And they come right out. Be careful not to scratch your gamepad, obviously. So ta-da! Here's the piece there. And I'm going to just go ahead and put that on the floor somewhere where I know it's not going to get lost. Now there is adhesive on the back side of those. So, you know, if you put them on the floor, they may stick to the floor. Worst case scenario, you can just use a sharp object to pick them back up again. So let me go ahead and take care of all those. Alright, so I was able to pull all 10 of those squares off. Now the bolt holes are exposed. Inside of those bolt holes, you're going to have a tri-wing screwdriver down there. I can't really get it on camera. You can kind of see it there. So they're tri-wing bolts. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your trusty tri-wing screwdriver, which I have in my hand here, and you're going to begin to disassemble the backing from the front of the gamepad. Pretty straightforward. Now, if I remember correctly, these bolts don't actually come out, they just loosen up. So you don't got to worry about if they don't fall out of the gamepad. Although I can't really remember. They may or may not, so don't get upset if they do. Again, just an amateur video, just to show the average Joe how to replace the analog sticks, so he doesn't have to waste money going through Nintendo and waiting all that time. Feeding my Nintendogs over here. Yes, I still have this. Don't judge me. Yeah, so only 2 more to go. Alright, so I think all those are loose. All that is now loose, and the backing of the gamepad should just pry up. If I remember it, there it goes. Actually, hold on, I might still have this guy. Yep, forgot this guy, sorry. Alright. Alright. Now the backing just lifts off like so. You need to be very, very careful you do not yank this, because you will break this wire that's attached to the motherboard, and that is very, very, very bad. So whatever you do, if you pull this backing off, be very careful with it. So I'm going to leave that sitting right there. Feed my dog right here. Have him play fetch. Let's see. So I'm going to flip this like that. Now, yeah, if I believe the screws that I just took out can fall out, so be careful where if you lose one, make sure you're sitting on a flat surface. Maybe have a magnet nearby in case you drop a screw. But yeah, this is the inside of the gamepad. These are the nuts and bolts in the interior. So yeah. Alright guys, so again, to get to the analog stick, you're going to remove the trigger buttons. Now, they're just fit in this little clasp, actually. So you flip it up, like so, and you slide it right out. That's literally it. So there's your ZR button. Lay that carefully over here. Then the other or right trigger, right trigger also just pops right up. So you lay that safely over there. So now that the triggers are gone, you're going to see this bolt, that bolt there, and there's one up here that's kind of hiding. It's kind of in the way. I do my best to show you guys. It's right there. Those 4 bolts you need to undo to remove this piece, which is going to expose the analog stick underneath. So let's go ahead, and those are actually Phillips heads. I believe they are 00 size. They are not tri-wing. They are Phillips. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Alright guys, just kind of bear with me here. Trying to do the best that I can. I know it's a crappy video, but it may help those who are actually trying to get this done. Remember, keep all your bolts together in a safe spot. Do not lose anything, because boy, are you going to have a hard time trying to find nuts and bolts for this. And now, this last guy up here is a little tricky due to the fact that this is in your way. But you're going to do your best to try and access it just enough so that you can remove the bolt. All right. Now this guy's he's a little tricky to pull out. Probably should have benefited from a magnet. But I was feeling a little lazy, so... Oh, alright, well hold on, we'll grab that in a second. So we'll grab that bolt shortly. Anyway, this actually just pops right up. Give me 1 second. Alright, so I was able to grab that bolt with the help of a magnet. Thank God these are magnetized. All my bolts are sitting right there. Now this left side, I just realized, or right side, excuse me, because the gamepad's facing downward, is a little different from this side, because this side actually had less bolts. So to replace that analog stick, which is the left stick, is a little easier, because I didn't account for this wire that's here, that goes to that motherboard. So you don't really have too much maneuverability until you probably break it out of those clasps, which is what I'm about to do. And then also, there's a ribbon cable here that's attached to this piece that I'm touching. So you're going to want to remove that as well and be extremely carefully. Now, they recommend you use a spooger, or spudger, I think is what it's called, to get that off. But you can do it with a tiny flathead in a very, very, very steady hand. This is just a standard flathead screwdriver, a small one that I got. Let's see here. Very, very, very carefully. There's a clasp in here. I might need 2 hands for this. Hold on. Bear with me with the camera work, guys. Steady hand is required for this. Hold on, I might need 2 hands. I'm going to put the phone down shortly. I'm going to try and get a good angle here. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, we're back. So I needed some leverage, so I attached my tiny flathead to this, and all I did was pry that locking nut up. So I just, here, hold on. So where my index finger is, I just pried that up, and now the ribbon cable should slide right out. Very carefully, give me 1 second. Alright, well, it's being a little stubborn. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to disconnect these wires here. Just so I can move this. So give me 1 second. Okay, guys. So I pulled that out. Wiggled this cable out of the clasps. Wasn't that difficult. Now this guy here is what controls your buttons. If you ever have a problem with your D-pad or your A and B buttons, this is the guy, or your trigger buttons, this is the guy that's going to need replacement. So just FYI. And here is your analog stick, or at least the bottom half of it. Here's the new one. Here's the new one. That's the original. So there's only 2 screws that hold this guy in place, and these screws are tri-wing. So you're going to need your tri-wing screwdriver again. And bear in mind, there is another clip you're going to have to disconnect once you unscrew this. It's up to you if you want to do it now or later. I usually do it later after I unscrew it. So I'm unscrewing that right there. Again, I really do apologize for the video quality. First time making a video doing this, so it's a little harder than it looks. Alright. I might put the screw back in it, only to hold it in place, that way when I twist it. Alright, so now it's unscrewing. Alright. So I got the bolts over here. Now the bolts are, for the actual analog, are different sizes. They're a lot longer than the bolts you pulled out previously. So that's how you're going to differentiate. Alright, so the analog stick is out. You can actually literally pop the stick out of its clasp. Give me 1 second. Then you're going to use your index finger pushing down. Give me 1 second. I need 2 hands for this. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. So your analog stick is out. Literally, you place your index finger here, push down, and pull outwards. Pretty straightforward. So here's my analog stick. You are going to need to reuse this cable because the new one does not come with it, obviously. So I'll show you guys what to do with that shortly. So, and then this plastic rubber piece literally pops right off. I'll try and show you guys. Hopefully I can get it on camera. Give me 1 second. Alright, there we go. It's off. It literally slides right up. So we're going to go ahead and place that over there. Then we're going to try and deal with this guy. Now, the best thing for this, I don't know if you can see it, there's a groove there. I usually stuck a very thin flathead, and you literally pry this outwards, and it should pop right out. But again, be very gentle with it. Sorry for the video quality. You're going to want to stick a flathead in there to pry this piece out. So let me go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so I pulled this out. Took some time, but it does come out. Just be patient and be careful. It does come out. So like I said, as long as you're gentle with it, you should be fine. Now what you're going to do is you're going to place it on the original one. There's little grooves here. It slides into place, so there's only one way it goes on, so you don't got to worry about putting it on backwards. Let me go ahead and do that. Alright, so here is my replaced part. Everything's on there. The rubber piece along with the wiring, it's in place, it's tight. That's the old piece there, so we're just gonna put that to the side. Let's go ahead and reassemble, guys. Basically it just slips. Well, here first, I suppose I can connect it. Give me 1 second. Here, I need 2 hands for this again. Hold on. Alright, so it took me some time. I needed 2 hands, but analog stick is in place. It is plugged in. Both screws are tight in place. So now we can go ahead and start reassembling. Put this bad boy back on here. So let me go ahead. I need my 2 hands again. Again, I do apologize for the video. Alright, so I got the wire back in place. Again, I do apologize I can't actually run through this as I'm doing it. Like I said, for some of this stuff I do need 2 hands, and I don't have a stand for the camera. Actually, well, the camera's just my cell phone, so I'm doing the best that I can, guys. Let's see here. Trying to get the ribbon cable back in at the moment. It's giving me some trouble because you want to make sure that it's all the way in secured. Again, I got big hands for this, so I want to say that that might be in, but I just want to make sure that it actually is. And really, it's okay to touch it. Just don't go too crazy with it. You just want to, take your fingers and make sure it's in. You should hear like a slight clicky noise when it seats. And then once that's done, you take the clasp and lock it in place. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'm placing the screws that I had removed back in their appropriate holes. Snug is good. You don't got to go too crazy tightening them down. But yeah, so one at a time. Just retrace your steps. Like I said, use common sense. Be gentle with everything. Alright, one last screw. Again, don't lose any of the bolts whatsoever. And this is that tricky one over here. Sorry, I don't have my light anymore. The battery in my phone died. But you're just going to come in at an angle like so. And you're going to tighten that guy. Alright. So that's now snug in place. You're going to take... Oh, wait, actually, hold on. One more thing. Cannot forget the trigger buttons. Got to put those back where they belong. Alright, so the trigger buttons, again, I'm sorry about the lighting here. The right trigger fits into a clasp, like so, and sits in place. The ZR trigger gets put into its own clasp as well. And the ZR button is in. Now that the triggers are in, you can put the cover back on. Alright, so the cover's back on. Actually, so these screws on the back plate do fall out. Be very, very, very careful not to lose these. So basically the backing plate just sits or rests on the front plate like so. And give me 1 second. Alright, so now we're gonna put all these screws back in place. And tighten everything down. Just putting everything in the holes. Alright guys, so now what you're going to do is you're just going to tighten all the bolts. Pretty straightforward. You don't got to go crazy tightening. As long as, good. So just make sure that everything's getting tightened, obviously. Pretty straightforward. There's 10 bolts. Make sure you tighten all 10 of them. There really isn't a pattern to this, so alright. Alright, so all those are tightened. What you're going to do now is you can go ahead and put your battery back in. Battery's in. Go ahead and put the battery cover back on it. Tighten the 2 Phillips head screws like so. And so Phillips head screws are tightened. And voila. Here's my brand new analog stick installed in my Gamepad. Now, all I gotta do is just put these little black squares back on all the bolt hole covers. Pretty straightforward. Again, use a sharp object to do that. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, just message me or comment on the video. Thanks, and again, I apologize for the amateur video itself, but I hope it helped some people.